She never expected a routine doctor's visit to turn her world upside down, but the moment she fainted in the single dad doctor's office, everything changed. What she whispered when she woke up would shock you, leave your heart racing, and make you question everything you thought you knew about love, family, and destiny. Stay tuned, hit that subscribe button, and join thousands of readers who can't put this story down. From the moment Emma stepped into Drive, James Whittaker's office, there was an unspoken tension she couldn't quite place, a mixture of nerves, guilt, and something inexplicably magnetic that made her heart skip every time she glanced at him. He was a single dad with a reputation that preceded him, a man who had somehow balanced the impossible, a demanding medical career and the tender, chaotic life of raising his little boy alone. Emma had come for a routine checkup, insisting she was fine, but the truth was she wasn't fine at all. The air in the office smelled faintly of antiseptic and warm coffee, the walls adorned with children's drawings, and Emma's stomach twisted as she realized that one of those cheerful scribbles bore a remarkable resemblance to someone she once loved, someone she had believed she would never see again. Dr. Whittaker greeted her with that calm, professional demeanor that made patients trust him instantly, though Emma felt like he was looking right through her, almost as if he recognized more than just her face, as if he knew the secrets she carried, the ones she had locked away for years. She tried to focus on the paperwork, on the questions about her health, but the words blurred, her head spinning. And then, in a moment so swift and surreal, the world tipped sideways, the floor vanished beneath her, and she collapsed, darkness claiming her consciousness before she could even comprehend what was happening. When she woke up, her first sight was Dr. Whittaker's concerned face, the lines around his eyes deeper than she remembered, and beside him, a small boy, clutching a stuffed bear, staring at her with a cautious curiosity that sent a pang straight to her heart. Emma's lips trembled as she tried to speak, and the words that escaped were heavier than any confession she had ever imagined. "The baby is yours." Silence filled the room, thick and suffocating, punctuated only by the faint hum of medical equipment and the soft rustle of papers. Dr. Whittaker's eyes widened, a storm of disbelief, hope, and fear crossing his features in a heartbeat, and Emma realized that she had unleashed a chain of events that could never be undone. Secrets long buried, choices made in desperation, and the fragile threads of a past love intertwined in ways that neither of them could anticipate now hung precariously in the balance. As she struggled to regain her composure, memories flooded back. Late nights, whispered confessions, moments of passion that had been interrupted by circumstances neither could control, and the terrifying reality that the life she had created alone was about to collide violently with the life he had built. Outside, the winter sun cast long shadows through the blinds, illuminating dust particles dancing in the air, and Emma felt a shiver of inevitability. She knew this was only the beginning. The office, once a place of clinical neutrality, now held the weight of destiny, heartbreak, and a possibility for love reborn. And in that moment, she understood that nothing, no denial, no time, no distance, could protect them from the truth any longer. The moment Emma's words hung in the air, the room seemed to contract around them, the weight of the confession pressing down with a force neither of them had anticipated. Dr. Whittaker's hand hovered uncertainly near hers, not daring to reach, not wanting to disrupt the fragile moment of truth, and yet the emotions swirling in his chest were impossible to contain. A mixture of disbelief, anger at the years lost, longing he had buried beneath duty and responsibility, and a flicker of hope he hadn't allowed himself in years. Emma's eyes brimmed with tears, and she could barely meet his gaze, afraid that if she did, the full intensity of what she had just revealed might shatter them both. The little boy, oblivious to the adult complexities of the moment but keenly sensing tension, shuffled closer to Dr. Whittaker, holding his stuffed bear like a shield, and Emma felt a pang of guilt for even being here, for bringing this storm into their lives, knowing she could not take it back. Every memory of their past, the stolen nights of laughter, the whispered promises, the heartbreak that had torn them apart, flooded her mind, and she realized that the carefully constructed life she had led was a fragile lie built on omission, on silence, and now, in a single heartbeat, it had crumbled. Dr. Whittaker finally spoke, his voice low, shaking only slightly with the effort of restraint. "Emma, why didn't you tell me?" The question was simple, but its implications were massive, reverberating through every nerve in her body. She swallowed hard, trying to find words that could make sense of the chaos she had unleashed, but nothing seemed sufficient. I was scared," she whispered, her voice trembling. "I didn't want to destroy your life. I thought I could handle it alone. I thought, maybe it would never matter. But it does. It matters more than anything." For a long moment, neither spoke. Outside the office, the distant sounds of the hospital, Footsteps, the faint beeping of monitors, the murmured conversations of staff, felt like echoes from another world, a world that no longer belonged to them. Doctor. Whitaker's gaze softened, though the storm of emotions behind it was undeniable, and he finally reached for her hand, a tentative gesture, bridging the gap between fear and hope. "We need to figure this out," he said, each word deliberate. "We need to decide what happens now. For him, for all of us." Emma nodded, tears spilling freely now, and she realized the magnitude of what they were about to face together. It wasn't just the past or the secret she had carried, it was the reality of building a life entwined with someone she had once loved, someone who had become a stranger yet felt intimately familiar. Over the next hours, they spoke cautiously, revealing fragments of their respective lives over the years, carefully skirting painful truths at first, then gradually peeling back layers of misunderstanding, resentment, and lingering affection. Emma learned about the night's drive. Whitaker had spent worrying over his son, the moments when he had imagined her, wondered if she had moved on, if she had forgotten him. Wild drive. Whitaker learned about the struggles Emma had faced raising the baby alone, the sacrifices she had made, the loneliness that had almost consumed her. But as the conversation unfolded, shadows emerged. Secrets that Emma had hoped would remain buried began to surface. A mysterious letter she had received months before, threatening to expose the truth, a stranger who had appeared at her door asking questions she didn't dare answer, and the realization that someone from her past had been watching her life, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Doctor. Whitaker's jaw tightened as he absorbed the implications, his protective instincts kicking in, not just for Emma, not just for the boy, but for the fragile family that was now tenuously forming before him. They were being watched, manipulated perhaps, by forces neither of them had anticipated, and the stakes were higher than they could have imagined. That evening, as Emma prepared to leave the office, she caught a glimpse of herself in the glass door and saw the reflection of a woman transformed, someone no longer capable of pretending, someone forced by love, fear, and responsibility to confront every truth, every shadow, and every consequence. Doctor. Whitaker walked her to the door, the boy clutching his father's hand, and in that silent corridor, the unspoken promise lingered. They would face whatever came next together, but the path would be treacherous, filled with unexpected allies and hidden enemies, betrayals long buried and loyalty tested. And just as Emma stepped into the cold night air, shivering against more than just the winter chill, she didn't notice the dark figure watching from the corner of the street, phone in hand, a smirk curling across lips that had known all along about the secret she had just revealed, a secret that, if exposed, could destroy them before they even had a chance to rebuild. The days that followed were a whirlwind of emotions, secrets, and unrelenting tension. Emma couldn't shake the feeling that someone was shadowing her every move, that every smile and friendly gesture in the street could mask hidden malice. Dr. Whitaker, balancing his professional duties with the responsibilities of a single father, became both her anchor and her mirror, reflecting the fears she tried to hide and the courage she didn't realize she possessed. Every morning, when the boy ran into the room calling for breakfast, calling for his father, Emma felt her heart ache and swell at the same time, realizing that she wasn't just confronting her past, she was building a future, a new family forged from the fragments of mistakes and secrets. But the threat she had glimpsed before, the dark figure on the street, soon escalated from vague suspicion to undeniable danger. Anonymous calls, cryptic emails, and subtle manipulations began to unravel the careful plans Emma had constructed, forcing her and Dr. Whitaker into a reluctant alliance that transcended old grievances and personal pride. One evening, while Whitaker was finishing his shift, Emma received a note slipped under her apartment door. "Stop hiding. Stop pretending. You cannot protect him forever." Fear gripped her, icy and paralyzing, but it was joined immediately by resolve. She realized that running or hiding was no longer an option. She and Dr. Whitaker had to face whatever force was attempting to control their lives, and they had to do it together. When they met that night, the tension between them was electric. Words weren't enough. Every glance, every brush of a hand, every shared sigh carried the weight of unspoken feelings, and for the first time, Emma allowed herself to imagine that love could survive even the cruelest of secrets. They devised a plan to uncover the identity of the shadowy figure, combing through past letters, messages, and connections until a pattern emerged. Someone close, someone who had once coveted Emma's trust and had been silently envious of Dr. Whitaker's life. The confrontation was inevitable. In a secluded warehouse on the outskirts of the city, under the harsh glare of fluorescent lights, the figure revealed themselves, a former friend turned obsessive rival, someone who had harbored resentment, jealousy, and a craving for control that had festered for years. Words were exchanged, accusations hurled, and the truth emerged with a painful clarity that left Emma and Dr. Whitaker shaken but resolute. In that crucible of confrontation, something remarkable happened. The bond between them, forged in shared fear and mutual courage, solidified into a commitment neither could deny. As the antagonist was taken away by authorities, their plan foiled and the threat neutralized, Emma finally felt a sense of release, a weight lifting from her chest. Yet the most profound moment came afterward, when the three of them, Emma, Whitaker, and the boy, sat together in the quiet of the office, the soft hum of machines around them, and the warmth of shared triumph enveloping them. Emma looked at Whitaker, her eyes clear and steady, and whispered, "I'm ready to face everything with you." And he, with a mixture of awe and tenderness, pulled her close, the little boy clapping his hands gleefully between them, as if sensing that the family he had always wanted was finally whole. The following weeks were a dance of healing, rebuilding, and rediscovery. Emma and Dr. Whitaker navigated the complexities of co-parenting, trust, and rekindled romance, but always with honesty and openness that strengthened their bond. The shadows of the past, though present in memory, no longer dictated their lives. They laughed, they cried, they argued and made up, learning that love was not the absence of struggle, but the courage to face struggle together. And on a quiet afternoon, as sunlight poured through the windows of the office where their lives had once collided so dramatically, Emma felt the undeniable truth. The baby really was his, yes, but more than that, the love they had almost lost had returned, stronger, wiser, and unbreakable. With hearts intertwined, a child's laughter echoing through the halls, and the knowledge that no secret or threat could tear them apart again, Emma and Dr. Whitaker stepped into the future together, a family reborn from the ashes of past mistakes, triumphant, resilient, and united by the most profound truth of all, that love, once genuine, can endure anything, and that sometimes, the most unexpected moments, the fainting in an office, a whispered confession, can change everything, turning ordinary lives into extraordinary stories of hope, redemption, and the unbreakable bond of family.